Is strengthening the local food system in the Carolinas from production to consumption something you'd like to learn more about? Well, if so, you won't want to miss today's episode where Cindy and I will speak to Zach Wyatt and Michael Bowling from Carolina Farm Trust about their organization and their mission to do just that.
Welcome to Discover Statesville, the show that takes you on a captivating journey through the heart of one of North Carolina's most charming towns.
Wow, thanks, Richard. I know I'm interested in learning more about strengthening our local food system. Welcome back to Discover Statesville, everyone. We can't believe it's already been 1 month. So we're on episode 4. We're having a lot of fun discovering Statesville and hope you're enjoying the content that we are sharing with you. Richard and I are excited today to have Zach Wyatt, President and CEO from Carolina Farm Trust, along with Carolina Farm Trust Market General Manager, did I say that right, Michael? Michael Bowling with us today. Thank you so much for joining us today, Zach and Michael.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Excited to have you here. So, Zach, in preparation for our show, I did a little digging through your website and read what you call the challenge. So you say that our food system's at a breaking point, or Carolina Farm Trust says that our food system's at a breaking point. And I think it would be good for us to kick things off by having you give us an overview of Carolina Farm Trust and our current struggle with food access.
Yeah, so I'll kind of do that in reverse. So a lot of people don't understand our food system and why. It's at the grocery store, right? And so really the grocery store is one of the best magic tricks that exist because it really, the visual is that illusion of abundance. And so I would say when Katrina hit was the first time that I walked into a grocery store in my entire life and there's no bread and there's no milk. And I was like, oh, crap. And I think when you go into that grocery store, especially with the pandemic, that not being full was the anxiety I think that it just gave everybody it's scary, because it's just, we have really in the last 60 to 70 years, food has just been an afterthought. It's just going to be there. We don't have to worry about it. I don't need to know how to grow it. I don't need to know or really understand anything except hop in my car and kind of go when we're hungry. And so when we're kind of looking at food inflation, we looked at the pandemic and we have vertically integrated our food system so much, it's almost one tower of Jenga. So just one little poke and it all kind of falls apart. So with Carolina Farm Trust, it's really going back and trying to rebuild a regional food system, which we had not even 100 years ago. Like the modern day grocery store really started kind of in the late 30s, early 40s. Industrial ag really picked up in the 60s and 70s. That's not that long ago. And so it's really, I think, really scary to see just what 50, 60 years of our, modern industrial food complex and really what it has done. So really our mission the vision is really building regional resilience and kind of using food and ag as that driver. And then how do we build markets, build distribution, build an understanding of where our food comes from, why is that important, rebuilding careers, looking at food as health, and really kind of going back and kind of building that system from the ground floor. Every industry on earth is going through a revolution. Food is no different. Our food systems are no different. And so it's just, for me, it's foreshadowing on what's to come. And if we don't take that responsibility now to kind of really go back and kind of build this infrastructure, use your imagination.
I don't want to.
So Zach, what are some of those sort of strategic pieces that Carolina Farm Trust has put into play to try to rebuild that infrastructure and work to solve this problem?
Yeah, I mean, the hard part in this is that the system is so fractured and broken, you have to have a system solution right there with you. So it's not just about building kind of a distribution facility. I got to build a whole entire market for it as well. The 4 main pillars we have is building an urban farm network, really to recreate experiences to generations upon generations of people who have just lost any idea or clue of where our food comes from. Why is that important? Our farm apprentice program is there to get career tracks back into regional agriculture. How do we make sure we have a labor force not only for us, but community gardens to thrive, school gardens to thrive? How can we create traveling teams to help our rural farming community thrive? I was at the Cities of America Summit that the State Department did back in Denver, and I just had a loose comment of farmers are the second highest suicide rate in occupation in the country. And I quickly was like, ooh, I need to make sure that's right. And then I went and looked, and I was wrong. It's number one. And military veterans were number two. So our farming community needs support. There is no PTO, in the farming world. And so our third pillar is our Food is Health program, which we have designed. We're just waiting on some funding to execute that. And then we have a distribution facility that we are working on in West Charlotte. We have 25,000 square feet. We're currently renovating phase one. There's a wholesale component, a 3,000 square foot commercial kitchen to create our own value-added product line, retail space, teaching kitchen, event space, and then a 5,500 square foot meat processing facility / butchery that Michael is our new general manager for. So it's really just trying to create all of the things we need to do to educate a population, give them the solution at the same time, give our farmers a profitable revenue stream, using economics to really push them to start, the regenerative farming journey, and then creating a supply chain for institutions to participate in and consumers as well. So until we get climate change initiatives, sustainability, health and nutrition, upward mobility, which is our core impact areas, we have to get that into our supply chain or we're never going to make it happen. So we're just really focusing on building that infrastructure to start that.
That's amazing. And with all the pillars you have, we obviously don't have time to cover all of those today, but we will make sure that you as listeners know exactly how to learn more about Carolina Farm Trust and the solutions and the pillars. But Michael, I'm so glad you're here with us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit more in depth about the market and what you're doing now on the team?
So now I'm heavily involved in planning events as well as building our staff, getting our systems in place for the distribution center. I mean, when you look at it, it is a major, major project. We are going to build a distribution center, staff it, start bringing in produce from the region, from the state. As we slowly grow, we're going to expand our reach and open the market. And the market is really important because it gives the people in the community in West Charlotte, which is classified as a food desert, to be able to have somewhere local they can come get vegetables and pre-prepared meals and locally made sauces and things along that nature. The distribution center is going to, as we already are working on, supplying food to the adult food program with a senior food nutrition program with Mecklenburg County. We're going to work with some other partners in helping them supply fresh vegetables to their client base as well. We're also going to sell to some major institutions. They want to buy local. And some of our smaller purveyors in the area can't really supply a large hotel or a hospital with enough goods. The big box stores can, and respect to them for what they do, because some of them are buying local. But we're going to buy local on a major scale. Like, that's all we're going to do. We're not going to bus in zucchini from California or anything like that. So we're going to be working really hard on being involved in the community. Out of our event space, we're going to allow local organizations to have their meetings there. Maybe their choir to have rehearsal and things along that nature so that they can feel like they're a part of the building as well. We're going to hire out of the community.
Wonderful.
We're working with an organization now so we can help people that have had substance abuse problems, that are ex-offenders, all of these things, so they can get job training in our facility, culinary job training, to be cashiers, to work in a grocery store, some warehouse training. So our program is not just food, but it's also about upward mobility. It's also keeping money in the community. A lot of times we go to the grocery store and we buy, and they say it's local, but it's local to somebody. It's not local to us. So that money leaves the community. If we spend money in our community, it stays in the community, helps the community grow, helps upward mobility, which is something Zach was talking about. So the distribution center is going to be major, and the market is going to be something that I believe people will fall in love with.
That's great information. Thank you. And I can hear your passion while you're talking. So
Appreciate it.
Sounds like you've found a home in Carolina Farm Trust. So Richard and I had the opportunity to spend time with Zach and Michael and the whole team a week ago on Monday to kind of talk about some exciting things happening with Carolina Farm Trust as it impacts right here in Iredell County in Statesville. So I'm really excited about the upcoming events that you guys are putting together in partnership with us.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot. So that our local community can tie in. So one could argue that agriculture is the largest industry here in Iredell County, and it's very important to us, and I know it's important to what you guys are doing. So tell us about your inaugural Systems Change Conference that is happening right here at the Statesville Civic Center.
It is.
At the end of
September.
Yeah, the end of September.
I went to a soil health conference in Iowa, and the airport was literally one gate, and it was about 30 feet, and then you were outside of the airport. And it was awesome. It was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and it was just amazing information. And I'm like, the right people aren't here. There was the rest of the world needs to understand the farming world. So Russell Hedrick is an amazing farmer over in Hickory that's been a regenerative farming champion. And Liz Haney has Soil Regen, and so we were co-hosting the conference with them. And so, as long as Carolina Farm Trust has been trying to build some statesville relationships for years, and it's always kind of a second home for us with Carolina Jubilee, and so this is exactly where we wanted to have it. We wanted to have it kind of in a rural kind of flair and really kind of show off downtown Statesville. But we're really trying to get every industry, government, corporate, medical community, philanthropists, farmers, general public, kids, college, it doesn't matter. So we keep trying to solve these insane problems in very strict silos, and it's just not working. And so we really need to kind of go back into like, how can we have kind of a really systems approach? And so that's really the design of the conference itself. So we have some amazing speakers. I mean, we have Richard Lackey, the CEO of the World Food Bank, Ray Archuleta, who's an amazing soil scientist, Jimmy Emmons, great food is health, food is medicine expert, and Erin Martin is doing amazing work with her Fresh RX program in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's just some really cool people that will be here, and it's so this. I mean, if you're alive and care about your family, this conference is for you. Because it's really just bringing and kind of talking about this, and really the end goal. This isn't a conference just to kind of talk about this and leave. It's really about taking thought leadership and getting it into action on the ground. So this is our inaugural year. We really need everyone's support to make it happen. But we hopefully will have this year over year, and really showcase of where these investments are going. What is the data showing? What are we doing well? What are we not doing so well? What we need, more investments in certain areas. But we're really excited to bring it here.
And what are the dates for the conference?
So September 26th is a kind of travel day in. We have kind of an invite-only kind of reception we're doing for sponsors and speakers on Tuesday night, the 26th. The 27th is full day of the conference. Then we have dinner on West Broad Street. Thank you to the City Council and the Mayor for allowing us to do that. But we're excited to have about a 200-person dinner right at Mitchell and kind of going down Broad Street to Center. And then Thursday, all day on the conference. And then we have our Urban Soul and the Farm dinner up at Van Hoy. And then we'll roll right into Carolina Jubilee on Friday, Saturday. So it's going to be a rough week.
That's a full week.
I'm out of town the week before, the week after.
I was gonna say, are you hibernating for the next few weeks?
And all these things are...
Every year he does this to me. He's gone the week before the event, and then he comes back and he parachutes in like a
All good
stormtrooper.
leaders, Michael.
That's right.
All good leaders.
So, and all these things, you mentioned the Systems Change Conference and the dinner on West Broad and Urban Soul on the Farm and Carolina Jubilee. People can I mean, there's opportunities to purchase a ticket to any one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
events. You don't have
Yep.
to be all in on everything
No,
if your
I mean,
schedule doesn't allow.
the dinners are all public. So it's the conference ticket, dinner tickets, Carolina Jubilee. Just come and engage. It's fun, and I know you guys been to Carolina Jubilee. I mean, Casey Van Hoy has been an amazing partner over the years, and we continue to invest in that. And it's evolving, which is great.
Well, tell people a little bit about the Jubilee that may not be familiar with what that is.
Well, it's a 2-day music festival. Come and camp with us. I mean, the lineup is great, and it's just very laid back. Michael's working on some cool menu. We have our own food truck this year. So it's just something to come celebrate our mission. Celebrate Statesville and North Iredell, and so all it takes is people to have a good party, and that's what we're wanting to throw.
And so that's out at Van Hoy Farms. You mentioned Casey Van Hoy, but that's out at Van Hoy Farms in Union Grove, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not inaugural, so it's in its what year is Carolina Jubilee in?
No, I think it's 8.
It's been more than that. Yeah. It's been over that. I mean, I can remember taking a day off work, going and helping you put up the stage years ago, and that was a long time ago.
We have people to do that now.
That's right. I was just a day labor.
Got to start somewhere.
It really is a great time. It's a beautiful environment to have an event like that. Super family friendly. You can hear music from most of the places that you're camping on site. It's a really great atmosphere.
And Richard and I had the opportunity last year to go to Urban Soul on the farm. And I think besides the amazing food, what I enjoyed the most was actually getting to experience and meet the individual chefs and have them talk about their inspiration behind each part of the meal. So the dinner on West Broad Street, this is going to be inaugural, right? So
yes, it is.
I think what we haven't talked about, Michael, is, and you were mentioning it to us last Monday when we met, but, and I know it's not final yet, so we don't have to go into too many details, but the thought process of bringing in partners from local culinary programs and having local chefs. Tell us a little bit what you're comfortable telling, because I know you're still buttoning that up.
So, to me, we're in Statesville. Part of what I said earlier was about keeping the money in the community. Mm-hmm. So for me, as Zach approached me about planning this dinner, I want to use local talent. I also want to expose some of the local culinary programs to what it's like to do events like this. So we're already talking to a couple of restaurants here in the area about doing a protein or a vegetable or a starch, because we want to get as many people involved as we can. Mm-hmm. And then the culinary programs, both here and out of Charlotte and Hickory, coming together, using their staff, their team, their students as servers, kitchen helpers, all that type of stuff, because we want it to be immersive, right? Mm-hmm. And at the same time, as we're visitors up here right now and friends, we want to make sure that we don't harm the local restaurants. And what I mean by that is we're having a dinner in the middle of Broad Street and there are restaurants 50 feet away. We want them to be involved. So that way, they can still do regular service, but they can also be out here on the street with us, taking part in the festivities. Like, there's nothing better as a chef, because I am one, to be able to walk out of the kitchen, do some work, have a cocktail, fellowship with the other chefs, and then go back and just tell your guys to close up, you're going home.
Yeah, I'm buying my ticket this afternoon.
So it's going to be a good time. We want it to be a celebration, and we want it to be something that everybody can enjoy. We're going to have some restaurants, a restaurant or two from the Charlotte area. Johnson & Wells has already agreed to take part. And we're working on CPCC as well as the school here. We're talking to the people in Hickory. We talked to 220 today.
Yeah, Kelly and John.
About getting involved. And I'm going to be walking the street. Y'all will see me around Statesville a lot over the next couple of weeks, just getting all the details locked up.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. So, you say visitors for now, but Zach may not know it yet. But, Event Center Market Number 2 is going to be in Statesville.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, expand.
I say it, Mark. I say it right now today. Yeah, we need to be. Because it's something important to the economy and something I think that the Statesville needs to be working on too. And you're doing a great thing. So, one of the things that's really important Richard and I with Discover Statesville is uncovering the people behind these cool things that we talk about. So, and the patchwork of their passion for what they do. And it's hard to bring that across in a podcast or a show. But Zach, if you'll share with us kind of, I mean, it's been a while now, right? How long Carolina Farm Trust and this is your brainchild. So why Carolina? Like, why did Zach decide that, like, why is this your passion?
It was all by accident, I mean, it's not something that I like really purposely like to where we are now. I mean, that's kind of just, and that's all things. I mean, it's just, you take one step and then the next step and then this, you go over here and go over there. And, but it all really started, just back in 2015 and, I had just a big life event and, where my career just kind of went down the, and, and it was like, what's next? And so there was just, Scott Avett was doing a PSA around Lomax Farm in Cabarrus County and walking away from it. And it just hit something. And I don't know what it hit. It just hit a nerve. And then I just started kind of going in and really researching our food system. And once you start, peeling back that onion, it's horrifying. And then I just started talking to some farmers and, just hearing their experiences was, equally horrifying. And then it came to a point of, there's this figurative Manhattan-sized meteor, coming that you can see in the sky every day. And what are you going to do? Stick your head in the sand or do something about it? And so, a lot of the research I was doing is we're educating people with no solution. And then we're trying to litigate our way out of this. And those two things are not going to work. And I've always been a kind of a business-minded person and the only way you're going to really impact anything on this level is go to compete. You got to go compete in the market. So first 4 years was really pushing it all together, and then the last 4 has really exploded, and just excited about the momentum we're building, and and drawing people like Michael to come on, and our staff is growing and our reach is growing.
You tricked me.
And the distribution facility is not even open yet, and we've already impacted, one particular farm in a huge way. I think in 1 year we've almost added about $48,000 worth of revenue to them, which is like a lottery ticket in this world. I think about Brian and Amy Howard, kind of every day when I'm having meetings. And we were just having a really big meeting with one of the big hotels in Uptown, and that's just churning money in my mind into Brian and Amy Howard.
Shout out to Howard Family Farm.
When we're able to kind of turn that on, so that's kind of what is exciting to me, is that we're getting to a bigger stage of scale. And that's what's been keeping this whole movement down, is there's just not been any way to really scale. So this facility will allow us to scale. We're committed to keeping all of this as a nonprofit. Just because we're a 501c3 doesn't mean that we don't want to make any money. We want to make a lot of money. We're still a business. It's just we're allowed to take those profits and reinvest into our mission, into our stakeholders. But the biggest thing is we need some places. We need an entity in the middle that's going to make sure our farmers have enough margin to exist, be profitable. If they're profitable, people will want to farm. Their kids will want to farm. People will want to get into farming if they can make money at it. And then at the same time, we need to make sure there's enough margin that we're leaving on the table for our consumers, so they're not completely priced out of a local food economy. Because once you start building this thing up, now you're talking about nutrient density in our food, and it changes people's lives. Michael can kind of talk through just the health challenges that he faces, but our chronic health is a pandemic in its own right. Our modern day food system is so ultra processed. Even by the time you're born, you're already kind of in a negative. Just because it's so integrated into our entire food system, you can't get away from it. So that's, again, that daunting task of putting that food system aside, and we're going to go to create a new one.
I think, well, first I want to say, give yourself a little credit, because nothing happens by accident. It starts with passion and a lot of hard work, right? You didn't have You didn't have the team you had now when you started. So congratulations on
Well,
where you're
and I
going.
have to. I mean, Richard has been been working and being a emotional support,
certainly an advocate
an
on the
advocate,
outside.
and helping me build stages at Carolina Jubilee for years. And so, and we've spent a lot of time in Statesville, and then once we started gaining momentum, time shifted back to Charlotte. And we didn't really spend a whole lot more time up here. But it's always been, on my mind of just what Statesville can be and what it's growing to be, and the respect that we have for the Statesville community and Iredell County and our farming community. We've just been really focused on how do we create a marketplace, so they can thrive.
Well, and it has been, to your point, we've known each other for a long time, since back around the time that, we were doing the radio and stuff. And, this was still a pretty new gig for you. But you had big ideas, and it was and you describe it now. I mean, it's a colossal undertaking. But I've kept up with y'all and your mission and everything over the years, and watching these pieces start to fall into play, it's been pretty remarkable where you guys have how you've grown in the last several years. So yeah, congrats.
Yeah, no, thank you.
More to come.
So 2 weeks ago when we highlighted Full Bloom Film Festival, Richard said it was his favorite week of the year, and so I'm just going to go ahead and say the last week in September is going to be my favorite week of the year.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Go let it drop. The hammer's been dropped.
It's going to be a full one anyway,
set.
and we feel honored to be partnering with you guys on it. So tell us real quick, how can the community get involved? Your website? And
CarolinaFarmTrust.org. Just move that cursor over to the events, and you'll see the dinners, the Systems Change Conference, Carolina Jubilee, all right there.
And tickets are on sale for all of these things right now, right?
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
buy them
certainly,
quick.
Encouraged. I mean, we're selling tickets. We haven't even announced the chefs yet. Especially with the Urban Soul on the Farm. I mean, the reputation that it has now is. I think we've already sold 12, 15 tickets on it, and and we haven't really announced any information yet.
And a limited amount of tickets for both of the dinner events.
Yeah, I mean, especially the dinner on West Broad is, if you want to go, I would buy tickets now.
You want to go?
You after Richard and I. buy
Well,
our
after
tickets.
after going to Urban Soul on the Farm dinner so many times, I mean, I can only imagine this is going to be equally as impressive.
Yeah, well,
Outstanding.
I love that area on West Broad. It just has that canopy of trees,
Yeah.
and it's just the view of Mitchell and then downtown Statesville. It's just it's gonna be nice. Yeah. So
And cool, a nice cool evening.
that's right.
It better be.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning into this episode of Discover Statesville. We love what we're doing, and we hope you love it too. If you know someone who would like to be featured on our show, or if you yourself has an idea of something we could be sharing with the community to help them discover Statesville, please go to statesvillenc.com, click on the Contact Us form, and send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks, everyone.
Zach, Michael, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining Discover Statesville. You can email us at discover@statesvillenc.com. Check us out on Facebook at Discover Statesville NC, #Discover Statesville, and our website, statesvillenc.com. Catch us next week as we continue on our journey to uncover the hidden gems, culinary adventures, entertainment, and to be inspired and enlightened as we discover Statesville.